Ryuji's in a cafe. He asks for another miso katsu. No, another 5. It's a famous specialty of Kaneicho, Nagoya, and he's enjoying it. Han Jungi is with him, but he's saying nothing. Ryuji encourages him to order something too, saying he must be hungry, but Han refuses. No, thank you. I am fine. I just want to note, since it's difficult to get across when you're not doing a full translation, Han speaks in an extremely polite and formal way all the time. Ryuji asks what's up with him but forgets his name, and Han has to prompt him. Ryuji says he has a bad memory. Then there's a flashback. Some days earlier, back when Han first turned up in Tsukimino, he greets Ryuji, and Ryuji asks why he's here. He doesn't look like he's from Omi. Han confirms he wasn't sent by Omi or Goryu Kai. He was sent as an envoy from the headquarters of the Jingwon in Korea. Ryuji asks what that is, and Han tells him it's the same organization that Ryuji's real father was in charge of the Japan branch of. Jingwon clan member Han Jungi. Ryuji says, "Oh, you've done your homework." And Han says, "Yes, completely. I have also done the homework on your current situation as well." Goda Ryuji-sama. He recaps what happened with Goda Jin, turning Ryuji down for the Wakagashira position and expelling him from the Yakuza, and how Ryuji then stole a bike from a gang outside a convenience store and came here to Tsukimino, where he came under the protection of the local Yakuza boss, Kitakata. Ryuji gives him 60%, saying he's paid back his debt to Kitakata, and he only borrowed the bike. Han apologizes for his discourtesy. Then Ryuji asks why he's come all the way from Korea to see him, and Han says it's because the Jingweon want to restart operations in Japan, and that's why Ryuji has come to their attention. Ryuji says they have good taste. Han thanks him and says Ryuji is one of the elite, since he has the blood of the leader of the Japanese branch. And he's also the son of the next head of Omi Rengo, one of Japan's largest Yakuza organizations. Even now that he's expelled, there's no one else who has connections like that. Ryuji asks if that means they're planning to take over Omi from inside. Han compliments him on his insight, but says the one thing more important than anything else is that he has the Jingwon blood. The Jingwon clan values blood ties above everything else. No one is allowed to stand against that, whoever they are. Which is to say, from the day you were born, you have been fated to join the organization. Ryuji chuckles. Very grandiose. Han says his first duty is to take Ryuji to headquarters in Korea, and then they can perform the ceremony so he can formally join the organization. Ryuji says, "Ooh, go to Korea. That sounds fun." Han says once he's a Jingweon member, the boss will give him his instructions. He asks if Ryuji's ready. They have to go to Kyushu first, and then they can take a boat to Korea from there. Ryuji says from the far north to the far south then. He can go on the bike. But what about... He forgets his name, and Han has to prompt him. Han says he has a bike too, so they can ride together. Ryuji and Han leave Tsukimino, heading directly south, and eventually They arrive in Inaicho. Ryuji says it's a relief to see civilization after so much farmland. Han tells him it's Kineicho, the central city of Aichi. Ryuji asks if they can stop here for the night, as his butt is hurting from being on the bike for so long. Han says he'll go look for a hotel, but Ryuji walks off into the park. He wants to sleep there. He says it's a lot warmer than Tsukimino, so it'll be fine. Sleeping outdoors without having to worry about freezing to death is the best. Han tries to persuade him to go to a hotel, saying if he's worried about money, he can pay. Ryuji asks who he's accusing of being worried, and Han apologizes. In the end, they both sleep in the park. In the morning, Ryuji drags Han off to a cafe for breakfast. He orders ogura toast, Nagoya's famous breakfast dish of red bean paste on toast. He's never had it before, so he wants to try it. He tells Han to order something too, but Han says, "No, thank you, I am fine." Ryuji says he's so boring. Ryuji finds the toast too sweet. How can Aichi people eat this first thing in the morning? Han notes that while Ryuji's complaining, he's still eaten all of it. Ryuji says, when you've ordered something, you have to eat it all. That's manners. Act sweet. Han asks if they can get back on the road after breakfast, and Ryuji says, sure. But then he goes to a convenience store and starts reading a job listings magazine. He's decided to look for a job. You've heard of jobs, right? I've decided to look for work. Spent the last of my money on that ogura toast. Han says he doesn't need to worry about money. He was given plenty of money by the Jingweon. But Ryuji he has a piece of advice for him. If you don't work, you don't eat. Food is tastier when you earn the money to pay for it yourself. And now he's tried ogura toast. He wants to try miso katsu next. Han protests, saying he was told to bring Ryuji straight to headquarters in Korea. But Ryuji's found a job he likes the look of. He starts working on a construction site. Han just hangs around waiting for him to finish. And then we're back where we started, with Ryuji eating miso katsu and Han still refusing to order anything. Han asks if they can leave in the morning, since it's late now. The boss is waiting for Ryuji, and they still have a long way to go. Ryuji asks who said they were going to Korea. I'll go where I want to go when I want to go there, and I want to stick around here for a while. I won't be satisfied till I've eaten that crazy sweet ogura toast at least 3 more times. Han says, Goda-sama, you might want to choose your words more carefully. Are you really saying that you do not plan to come to Korea or meet the boss? Ryuji says yes, that's right. Then he asks where his 5 miso katsu have got to. Han asks if Ryuji hasn't ordered too much, since he's going to end up throwing it all up later when Han punches him, which is why Han hasn't been eating. He's been keeping his stomach empty because it makes it easier to fight. After Ryuji's finished eating, they go to the park to fight. Han asks one more time, will Ryuji please let him take him to Korea? Ryuji says no need to talk. Let's just get on with the after-dinner exercise. He says he finds Han a lot more interesting now he's shown his true colors. Han says he'll show Ryuji a taste of Jingweon's power before taking him to meet the boss. During a break in the fight, Ryuji notes that he hasn't thrown up yet. They're about to go for round 2, but then they're interrupted by someone yelling at them to shut up because he's trying to sleep. Han tells the homeless man to leave before he gets hurt, but he tells them, "This is my spot. You're the ones should be leaving." Ryuji recognizes him. "I've seen you before. You're Shinada, the pinch hitter who made that famous sayonara home run." Shinada says nothing, but Ryuji insists he's Shinada Tatsuo from the Nagoya Wyverns. Shinada denies it, saying he's mistaken, but Ryuji says no way. "I never forget a face or a name." Han is speechless. Shinada's famous moment was 2 years ago. Ryuji recounts what happened, and Shinada says if he remembers all that, then he should remember what happened afterwards too. But Ryuji doesn't seem to. Then a police officer turns up and asks what's going on, and Shinada takes off. After getting rid of the cop, Han asks Ryuji about Shinada, and Ryuji tells the story again. Then Han wants to get back to fighting, since he hasn't finished punishing Ryuji yet. But Ryuji says he's lost interest now, he just wants to go to sleep. Besides, the cop might come back, and anyway, your orders are to take me back to the Korean HQ with you, right? If we carry on like this, that might get difficult, mightn't it? In all kinds of ways. Anyway, I might change my mind, mightn't I? If you stick around. Han says, "I will do whatever I have to do to get you to come back with me. Do not forget that." Ryuji chuckles and says he'll bear that in mind. The policeman from earlier makes a phone call. "It's me? Yes, no mistake. I've confirmed it's him. Goda Ryuji is here, in this town." The next day, Ryuji's back working on the construction site, and he suggests Han try it too, saying working is unexpectedly fun. Han says, "No thank you." Ryuji reckons he'll get bored just watching all day, but Han just asks if he's still planning to stay in Kinecho. Ryuji says absolutely. He still hasn't tasted the main dish, the girls. That evening, they go to a cabaret club. Well, Ryuji went. Han waited for him outside. Ryuji says it's no lie that Aichi people know how to put on a show, and Han says he's glad to hear it, since he waited for 3 hours for him. Ryuji reminds Han he invited him, but Han says he's on a mission. Then Ryuji spots Shinada coming out of another business and pounces on him. Shinada's not pleased to see Ryuji again, especially when Ryuji starts praising him for spending money on women even while being homeless. They do say great men have a taste for the erotic. Shinada tells Ryuji to leave him alone and runs off. Ryuji wonders what the problem is, and Han points out he accosted him coming out of a sex establishment, so it's a normal reaction. "Ryuji, I just wanted to get his autograph. Now he's running away again. Hey, wait!" He chases him with Han in tow. Shinada eventually gives up running, and Ryuji asks him for his autograph. Shinada asks him if he's making fun of him. "You must know what happened to me after that home run." Ryuji remembers he was accused of match fixing. Shinada asks if he knows that. Then why does he want his autograph? Ryuji says it's because he knows he isn't guilty of match-fixing, of course. He says anyone who watched the live broadcast and saw Shinada and the pitcher could tell they were serious. Your face when you hit it, and the pitcher's face when he realized. It was obvious that was an honest competition. If either of you were pretending, then you should have become professional actors, not baseball players. Shinada says that's the first time anyone said anything like that to him since that day. But he still doesn't feel like someone who should be signing autographs. Look at me, homeless, living day to day, spending what little money I can scrape together on my health, running away from reality. Someone like that, their life has no value, does it? He leaves. Han comments, "It appears you were rejected." And Ryuji tells him to shut up. Han says everyone has things in their life they don't want to talk to other people about. I believe it's only polite not to push them on it. Not to mention that you met by chance while indulging in erotic entertainment. Come on, let's just leave this town. But then he's distracted by something. A group of masked attackers who know Ryuji's name. They tell him to get out of town. Kinecho is no place for Omi Rengo people. Ryuji says get lost. He wants to eat more miso katsu. So there's a fight. Han doesn't help Ryuji, and when Ryuji asks why he says, "It seems they are only targeting you. I see no reason for me to participate." Ryuji says, "It'd be a problem for you if I got killed, wouldn't it?" And Han says, "By them? No chance." The attackers give Ryuji a final warning, saying they have no need for Omi or Tojo Kai here. This town is Nagoya-gumi territory. Ryuji's irritated people are still picking fights with him for being Omi Rengo, and asks if Han instigated the attack. Han says he would never go about things in such a roundabout way. So he asks Ryuji what he plans to do, since those guys don't seem like they're going to back down. Ryuji says he's going to eat miso katsu, and then, never mind. The next day, Ryuji's thinking he might try set meal B today. Han asks if he isn't getting sick of miso katsu yet, and Ryuji says he doesn't have to come with him. But when they go to eat, the waiter refuses to serve Ryuji. Orders from Nagoya-gumi. They try a different place, but it's the same there. And several hours later, no one will serve them. Han comments that Nagoya-gumi seem much more powerful than they'd thought. He's not displeased, though, because he wants to leave anyway. Ryuji says, "That's if we can get out of this town alive." A huge crowd of people, all kinds of people, not just thugs, women, salarymen, shopkeepers, has come to attack them. They're going to use them as an example of what happens to Yakuza, who interfere in Kinecho. Ryuji notes they're addressing both of them, so Han won't get to just watch this time. As they fight their way through the crowd, Han suggests heading south as it'll be easier to escape. But that doesn't suit Ryuji. He wants to go to the konbini, and the closest one is north, so he insists on heading that way. At the konbini, Ryuji buys a pen and a job search magazine, though not without some arguing with the clerk, who's also under orders not to serve him. Ryuji gives him 1,000 yen and tells him to keep the change. Then he runs off again.
Shinada's in the park, exercising. Ryuji says he's been looking for him. He tells Shinada when he was chasing him
For an autograph, he couldn't catch up with him, which he found surprising because he's confident in his running ability. You couldn't be that fast and that tough without a lot of training. Han asks what Ryuji thinks he's doing. They're being chased, and they should be getting out of town as quickly as possible. But Ryuji tells him to shut up. He's talking to Shinada. He tells Shinada he doesn't believe he really wanted to give up baseball and become a hermit. Shinada says he only kept training out of habit. It was just routine. Ryuji yells at him to stop babbling on and punches him. I'm a fan of yours. Don't behave in such a disgraceful way in front of your fan. Shinada gets angry. You know nothing about me, you bastard. He punches Ryuji, and Ryuji compliments him on getting in a good hit and tells him, if you won't listen to what I'm trying to tell you, maybe I can make you understand with my fists. They fight, and Ryuji's pleased to see Shinada getting some fighting spirit back. Then he gives him the magazine. He tells him he knows what it's like to be thrown out of your business. At first I was angry, but it actually turned out to be a good thing. Of course, I wanted to get to the top in that business. I thought that was my only option in life. But it's pretty interesting trying out different ways of living. You might think baseball is all you can do, but maybe that's not true, eh? Ryuji reminds Shinada he looked really happy when he came out of that health business, and ignoring Shinada's embarrassment, tells him, if you like the sex industry, maybe there's some way you can earn money there. I'm sure there's jobs you can do if you look. It's fine to charge headlong after your dream, but working hard to get by can be fun too. Shinada asks if Ryuji really came here, especially just to tell him that, and he says no, and gives Shinada the pen, asking for his autograph. Shinada agrees to sign, but Ryuji forgot to bring any paper, so he rips a page out of the magazine. Shinada signs as Ryuji requested. Nagoya Wyverns number 47, Shinada Tatsuo, and tells him, don't throw that away. If you do, I'll kill you. Then the Nagoya Gumi mob catch up, so Ryuji and Han run away. The cop from before approaches Shinada and asks him if he's seen a blonde man and a man with silver hair around here. Shinada says no. After the cop leaves, Shinada reflects that he never asked their names. Then he starts looking at the magazine. There's an advert circled for a writer for a nighttime entertainment magazine. He phones and arranges an interview. Ryuji and Han have escaped at last. Ryuji thanks Han for his help using his name. Han comments that he's finally remembered it, and Ryuji says, of course, it's Han Jongu. Han asks, are you doing that on purpose? Ryuji laughs and asks where they should go next. Han says, good grief. He thinks, in a desperate situation like that, he threw himself into more danger just to help that man, Shinada. I thought he was just a violent man, but unexpectedly... Meanwhile, at Omi Rengo HQ in Osaka. Godajin is meeting with Takayama, the next Go-Ryu Kai Wakagashira.